Thanks, guys. Yeah, so I'm Ethan Mortenson. I was born and raised in Utah. I started my journey as an entrepreneur at 19 years old as a barber. And through barbering, I got to travel the world and meet lots of cool other entrepreneurs. And at the beginning of my journey, I was going through a hard time because I was a kid that had like a good upbringing, but a little bit of a troubled home. So I was always getting in trouble. And I had to make a choice. So I picked barbering and the service industry because, one, it makes you talk to lots of people, gets you better at sales, and two, it lets you market a product you're in charge of without having to buy a bulk amount of product and manufacture it and do the whole nines. So in that journey, I ended up opening my first location with 3 of my best friends. And at that time, I was doing about $150,000 a year just by myself, not off of the business, but my business was only doing about $25,000 a person that was other than me. So the numbers weren't very big because I was nurturing myself instead of my business. But the one thing I did learn is how marketing and social media can change your whole life. So Instagram was mainly pictures when I first started. It didn't have video, it didn't have stories. That was a Snapchat thing. And I just started by posting pictures. And what that did for me is allowed me not only to connect with clients in my geographical area, but it allowed me to also connect with people around the world. So depending on your industry that you're in, you can really get hyper-targeted on your audience just by knowing your niche. And a lot of people get confused by the word niche. All a niche is what your product is and the avatar that would buy it. So when you think of a 30-year-old male that likes Harleys, likes Budweiser, and only goes to Maverick and only uses chewing tobacco, that's an avatar, right? People market to that specific person. So with social media, what I learned is you can also use geographical avatars, you can use trends, and you can use news outlets to try and get your word out faster. So today, one of the things I want to show you guys is walking through that on your social media. But first, I'll kind of go into how it helped me. The first thing it did is let me meet other people in my niche, and I started being able to do basically cold calling, but cold DMing to set up education for the people in my industry so I could go into their salons and barbershops and teach their barbers, and then I was hired by a shear company to do sales. So I would go in, I would teach the class, I would teach them techniques, and in turn I would sell shears, right? These shears were about $1,000 a shear, and in the first 3 months I sold $180,000 worth of shears. So it worked, right? And that's like just cold DMing people. And then there's posting with a purpose and a storyline. So I think part of the reason my social media works so well now, and I average about 25 to 60, depending on how often I post, 60,000 new people a month seeing my page. And that's a lot of new leads. So I kind of break it down, and if you can't see in red, that's totally okay. But I kind of break it down like this. So I've got cold, hot, organic, and I've got paid. So just so I know, because we have a lot of people talking about real estate in here, are you guys real estate professionals or do you just own real estate? The coolest part about this is with me knowing that, so you guys are providing a service, you're providing a service, you're providing a service, and you're providing product and service. I'll do it based off service and how I can help your business specifically, because I think of Instagram and social media as 2 different things. So one, it's my notification center. You know how like a lot of us have CRM, the systems you use to contact your customers, remind them, give them deals, right? So your social medias are a form of a CRM and a form of client outreach. So your social media is not going to do anything for 6 months. Like if you haven't been posting on it and you aren't doing it daily, it will take 3 to 6 months. You're gonna get a reward before 6 months, but it won't do anything for you for 6 months. Because if you service an HVAC or you service an appliance, what's the time frame that you usually need before you get a recontact from that customer? If you can get them to follow your Instagram and you're posting, maybe you did their dishwasher, but you're posting about the new fridge, that might incite that recontact to happen faster. Or if you have a lot of realtor friends, they're gonna be able to refer their clients that just bought houses to you to get appliances. And if you're posting your deals, the realtor can be like, hey, the faster they see who can help them, the better, right? And then with HVAC, I would honestly say your best things ever is gonna be Google. In the social media realm, unless you're doing something to teach people how to fix their own appliances, which is free knowledge, a lot of people will see that and be like, I don't wanna do it, and then they'll call you to do it. But that takes a lot of time and effort. So under my cold, I have people I don't know, and if I'm writing too small, let me know. And then under people I know, or people I don't know, I usually do DMs, posting, creating new friends. Because for a lot of people, even though we're all entrepreneurs, we've developed a skill that's like creating a new friend's pretty easy for us. Like you'll come and talk to me because you've had to talk to so many people. Everybody in here will. But when you can master your cold marketing, which is cold outreach phone calls, DMs, posting daily, asking for reviews to get more people that don't know you to get in there, is when you start to actually develop your marketing strategy on top of your social media telling a storyline, which a lot of people don't understand that your day-to-day life is the storyline. Like who you are as an individual and why you do what you do is the storyline. A lot of people are trying to build these massive storylines like they're making a TV show for their social medias, but like you have to just embrace that you are kind of that. Like people are just interested of the fact that what you do every day is hard and you're leaders in your industry, and the fact that you're actually going out and doing this on your own has value in it. So it could be as simple as like every morning when you're drinking your coffee, you just do coffee talk in the morning where you're like, okay, so my schedule today is I got to go and fix these 5 things, and this is my fires that are burning that I have to put out, and this is what I'm planning on doing to push my company forward. And if you post one of those every day, you're gonna get a following of people that actually appreciate you for your brand, not for the service you're providing. Because I've noticed a lot of people like me for what I post about my life more than me trying to sell them something. It's worked a lot better for me in that way. And that's where I get to like hot marketing. So hot marketing would be everybody that follows you already, every email you have, every contact you have, everybody you've ever sold before. And the reason this is important is these people have already had a point of contact with you, so they're easier to get to convert. So if I have followers on Instagram and I only have 69 of them, but I know that 50 of them have already bought from me before, when I target those people with like a post that's, does anybody know who Gary Vee is? Okay, so you know how he has jab, jab, right hook? So your jabs are your coffee talk in the morning. And whatever your coffee talk in the morning is, that's on you. I'm not trying to tell you to do coffee talk. Your hook is, I have this deal going on I would love for you to purchase, right? So if I know out of my 69 followers, 50 of them have bought from me before, I know when I throw a hook, if I've been giving free like value, they're gonna buy, right? So what I started doing for my company is I started doing barber interviews where I interviewed every barber so people could get to know the barbers because it's entertainment, and then they have a choice. They're like, I can meet my barber before I go in there. And I started posting the storyline of what the barbershop was trying to achieve. And then I opened a product line and like showed that whole experience. And so while I was doing those things, because you guys just have to do these things, right? Like you're either taking on a new employee, you're understanding training, you're trying to grow your business to the next zero, right? So if you state that on the internet and document what you're doing, you don't even have to post it until you're done. Like I'm recording this right now and it probably won't be edited for 3-4 weeks. But it's the fact that I'm recording it. Because then I can go back and be like, I said that was really good. And then I have Rico, who works with me, who started as a barber, became a manager of my location, then I taught him editing, and now he comes with me everywhere. So I've built these ecosystems in my business to create these storylines, right? And all of the cold I want to convert to hot. And then the hot will refer people that are cold into my hot. This service was so good, you have to try it, right? Another one under hot is Google reviews. So if you've gotten Google reviews and you haven't replied to them, I would say in the time frame of what you're doing, reply to them accordingly. So I reply to my Google reviews a month after, because a month after they're going to need a haircut. So if I reply to their Google review, they're going to get a notification on their phone from Google, Savant Barbershop replied to your review. And then you're going to end up reminding that person that they need a haircut. So for you guys, it's your time frame of when you think they need a reminder is when I would reply to the reviews. I wouldn't reply to them instantly unless it's a bad one. I get bad reviews. It's real, right? We all get them. It's unavoidable. So that's kind of how I manipulate my cold and my hot marketing, is I'm trying to get as many people in cold as I possibly can. And with social media, it makes it way easier because you can walk and hand out flyers, you can walk and hand out discount cards, and that works. And I'm not saying don't do that. What I'm saying is if you make a post and you get 200 views on it, if I slam 200 people in this room, imagine how that would feel. So everybody's trying to get a video to go viral, but in reality, if you post 100 videos with 2,000 views, that's 200,000 people. Especially if all those views aren't your following you already have. So that's why I'm so in on social media, is I can take someone in my company, because a lot of them are subcontractors, and I can boost them to make more, and we're a commission rate. So if you have a sales team, or you have a salon, or even you have people working under you that need to do more sales, teaching them social media will help them do that. So then I go to organic, right? So organic is going to be like Facebook, Instagram. I do IG, call it IG, Snapchat, Google, Yelp, LinkedIn. So organic is where you're not paying for anything and you're just organically pushing content out. Now, you can pay someone, like I am, to make the organic content, but you're not paying for ads. And for a lot of people, this is undervalued, especially everybody in this group, because you guys are all trying to be entrepreneurs that connect with each other, learn more, grow more. And LinkedIn is where entrepreneurs and business people go to share information. But the best part is you can make one piece of content and post it on all of these other than Google and Yelp. And most of your pictures that you take for your social medias should go on Google and Yelp, right? So what happened for me is I got really good at this. I was really good at this. This made me $100,000, right? But then I grew. And it didn't make everybody $100,000 in my company. This pairing or this pairing will make you $1 million. Because last year I did $1.2 million in service sales off $30 services. So that's a royal amount of services.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Right? So what I noticed is if I get one Google review a day, I don't have to pay Google. Because The way the algorithm on Google works is frequency, not quantity. So you could have 1,000 reviews, but if you haven't gotten a Google review in the past 6 months, you're irrelevant to Google. You want to know why? You're not using the platform. So I would post every update or deal that I'm doing to Google under the offers. People don't even know it's there. Most people don't even know most places have offers in their Google. Then I would post every picture I take for my social media on Google. Video gets kind of weird, but pictures will automatically convert because I posted a picture and I checked it after a year and it had 180,000 people look at it off Google. Because people who are on Google are already trying to purchase. They're typing in literally what they want. These worked good because it grabbed the people who you could kind of persuade to come and get what you're offering, right? But these are harder because it takes storytelling. So, what I figured out the best way for me to tell a story is to determine my goal for the next 3 to 6 months, and then I record it, right? I record every bit of it. And that might be annoying, but it's as simple as, I don't know, so I'm not on my floor anymore, and I don't assume, like, are you doing the actual HVAC service? You have people actually doing it, right? So I would see if your head guy would be willing to wear a GoPro. And it doesn't have to be every day, but like for like one job a week. And what you can do is you can show the full customer experience, the full maintenance, the full repair, or the full installation of the HVAC that you're doing. And what that'll do is it'll allow you to break that up into small 7 to 15 second clips, and it'll get you started on posting, right? And for you, you could even wear a GoPro sometimes, but yours is gonna be targeting entrepreneurs, not clients. That's what I noticed about myself. That's the one flaw about how I ended up not being behind my chair, is because I'm not doing the work anymore, and the quality I do, I know is high enough for the marketing that when you start to expand, you're gonna have a quality dip just a little bit, because you can only ask for somebody to be 70% as passionate about what you're doing as you are. So you're only gonna get so close to yourself, right? So once I started accepting that, I was like, okay, every employee that I have collaborates our brand page. So then because I couldn't I was doing 16 haircuts a day. I could post 16 times a day if I needed to. Now I do one a week, right? So I had to figure out, okay, so since I can't do 16, but I have 22 barbers, if I can get half of them to agree to post every day, we're pushing content out and people are seeing it, and it makes people want to go to those barbers. And that's the same in any kind of service industry, right? That's my own little technique that I used to like market my guys instead of myself, because you can collaborate on Instagram, which I'll show you guys how to do that today. Because I know some of this stuff is like, there's hidden features that if you weren't using Instagram the whole time the past 10 years, the feature came out, but nobody said anything about it, so it's just hidden, right? With paid, I would do paid Google. Paid Google works, but if you don't know your target audience, it gets expensive. So you have to start with a low budget and run the paid ads for at least 30 days to let the algorithm learn your clientele and who's clicking on it before you up the budget. So maximum for the first few months, I would only spend $300. After you gather the data, you can pump it to force it to give you more clients. Paid is paid Facebook ads, TikTok, LinkedIn, basically everything on this list. Google. The one I wouldn't do is Yelp. And I don't like to be that guy, but like their paid infrastructure just doesn't work. The only annoying part is they own Apple Maps. This is something I'm gonna have to do this year. You have to get reviews on Yelp so you look good on an iPhone. Because when most people aren't like me, like I used Google Maps to drive here, even though I have an iPhone, because it's just more accurate. Most people are only using maps on their phone. So if you don't have a rating on Yelp, you don't have a rating on this, and you lost. So don't pay Yelp, but go hard on getting reviews on Yelp. So the one thing I noticed though is when I'm doing paid, if I'm not doing anything active, the paid's a waste of money because it looks like a scam. So if you only have 5 posts on your Instagram and you're running an Instagram ad, people are gonna go there and you don't have anything going on your story, you don't have anything posted in the past 3 weeks, they're gonna be like, is this company even real? And then you're gonna lose your paid ad dollars on your potential lead. That's kind of my breakdown of how I funnel through my business is I run paid ads, but I post every day, and I use these things with organic marketing organic marketing, old school marketing, guerrilla marketing, however you want to word it, like people going on foot, doing flyers, getting numbers, and social media. It's not just one thing. And a lot of people try and tell you like, well, social media will fix it all. And it's like, it will if you pair it with what's already working for you. It will not work if you give up everything else and you go do social media. It just doesn't work like that. So what I want to do real fast is I'll have you guys go on Instagram and I'll explain a few things to you guys. So pull out Instagram real fast. Instagram actually has a map on it. So go into your Explore or your Search tab, and what you're going to want to do is type in a location, and this is for service specifically. Type in a location that you know is busy in Utah. And then you're going to on the top, it's going to say places. And you're going to click places and you're going to click on that location. And so when I'm trying to gain new clients, I think of where those clients would be. And so what this tells you is there's a hot map of people who are actually using Instagram in Utah. And those people understand how Instagram works. So when you market to those places and those things, people who are actually using Instagram are probably going to see it. So that's how I can tell where to put my posts, because I don't put my posts at my actual business. Click on one of the bubbles. When you get the location to pull up, go to recent. When you're in the recent posts, the top posts get thousands of likes. That's why they're at the top. The recent posts get 3 or 4 likes. So what I make everybody on my team do is I make them go and like all of those posts. Because when you have 4 likes and the 5th person likes it, typically that's gonna make you go look at that person's page, because we all like to stalk a little bit, right? We like to know who is interacting with our page. And if someone we don't know likes our page, we're gonna go check them out and make sure they're not weird. This is one of the hidden tools that Instagram has, is locations. But there's more to using location. So the next thing I'm gonna have you do is take a story on your Instagram showing what you're doing. And you don't actually have to post it, but I'm gonna walk you through how to properly use a location on your story. Because what I do is for our grooming products, and I have like a coaching business and I have a podcast, I don't use local hashtags. I don't use local locations. I use worldwide locations, because my podcast is something anybody in the world can watch. My coaching is something anybody in the world can take. So I'm able to market more than just my geographical area. So what I do is I'll take my most recent post, or I'll take a picture of what I'm doing right now. And then as I'm taking that picture, on the top, there's a little button that looks like a smiley face that's a sticker. With the location button, you can pick something next to your business. And this is harder for people who go out and service. But if I were you guys, I would like target Park City a lot because of all the new buildings and the multi-million-dollar construction going on. If you can get any one of those people to want you to come do a contract with them, it's just good. So for you guys, I would say Park City. Where's the salon at? By Pottery Barn. I would definitely do Pottery Barn. Use that location and put the sticker on the screen, and then you can press and hold the sticker and slide it down, or just slide it all the way off. If you press and hold it and slide it down, it'll move the layer. So then what I typically do is I drag the location off. I drag the sticker off of my screen because I'm not trying to promote the other business. I'm trying to promote my own business using their traffic. Then I add music. So at the top, there's a little music symbol, music, and there, all the music that pops up, if it has a little arrow pointing up and to the right next to the name, that's trending music. So that means you're using a trending song, and it'll attach it to that audio that everybody else on the algorithm's using, which will attract you more views. I usually add music. I try and be careful because my music preferences sometimes have swearing in it. So I have to like listen and make sure it doesn't say anything stupid, right? Just because I don't want to insult anybody that might be interested in coming to my business. After that, you've now attached your story post that lasts 24 hours to a geographical location that's high traffic in your area to hopefully attract clients. So what I do is every time there's a concert at USANA, I post for my business and attach it to USANA. Because people get nosy and they want to watch the concert, but they couldn't go. So they go watch the story. So then you show up as a commercial in the middle of the story of the concert. I did it at the Super Bowl. I do it for every Jazz game. I do it for every hockey team game. I do it because the stuff that I'm marketing, I'm not just marketing haircuts anymore. I'm marketing my educational course. I'm marketing my podcast. I'm marketing my mentorships to other salons. So every time there's a huge barber or salon expo, instead of me going, I just post on their story. Or I run a paid ad on the event, on that geographical location for $25 that day, and I post on the story. Because then everybody's phone that's in that event gets hit with my ad. Maybe at home for you guys. Or I know there's another one where they send everybody to like pick all their stuff for their house when they're building it. All those places would be great places to put a paid ad. Because those people are going and buying new homes, but then your business is ingrained in their brain from when they bought a new home. Say there's a card show in Vegas, okay? So you want to run ads for the day before that card show and the day after all the way through. And you want to run the ad on a 3-mile radius over that casino. Because then everybody who went to that casino for that, when they're done at the show, I would run a $25 paid ad. And when you run the paid ad, do it through Facebook, not Instagram, and use the geographical location of the event center. And then, yeah, you're gonna blow through $25 that day, but everybody who's sitting in the parking lot is gonna walk in and if you're gonna be there specifically, make it like a flyer with a deal with your face on it. Because you're pre-programming them to think you're familiar. So they're more likely to talk to you. That's how I did it. So when I was traveling, trying to build my name, I would run the paid ad in the location where there was the hair shows, and then I would show up and everybody would know who I was. Because it's like, hi, I'm the famous guy from the ad. Because nobody knows that you're paying for it to pop up on their phone. Yeah. They're just like, oh, well it says sponsored, but that's not, someone's not thinking that you're using the algorithm to manipulate their brain. Yeah, they're like, oh, that's the guy from that ad. Everybody knows Dan the Laptop Man, and everybody feels welcome to go talk to him because he was on every commercial from the time I was 4. I just feel like I already know him, right? So that's kind of how that works. So that's how I use locations to manipulate the algorithm. Next is hashtag, right? So you want to pair hashtags with your actual posts. And the location thing I showed you is on posts too. So when you're posting, you want to attach it to a location. And that's something, I know I'm going hard on location right now, but it's because that's something I watch people just not understand at all. If you don't peg it to a location, it's just floating in the abyss. They don't know where you're from. They don't know who you are. You're not targeting anybody anywhere. So you just threw it at the wall and hope it stuck, right? So if you start using location, then hashtags, which hashtags would be, for you guys, it'd be home renovation, DIY. Everything that any home buyer, because I own a house, I look up stuff to fix my house. So anything you can think of, maybe even use the prompt in ChatGPT act as my marketing specialist and think of my avatar for my business. Ask me 15 questions to help me understand who that avatar is. And then answer those 15 questions and okay, now spit me out 15 hashtags and then attach those to your posts. Because I use ChatGPT for pretty much everything now, right? But I also have marketing knowledge, so it just boosts it. And those hashtags, what that'll do is it'll put you in a bucket with content that people are watching to actually achieve that goal. Because each industry is so different and has so many nuances. Like, I know everything about barbershops, and I know how to run a brick and mortar business that's almost like pretty much retail. For me, it cost me about $8 to get someone in my door. I charge them $35, but I give my barbers 60% commission, so I really only make $8. So I have to get them to come back once more, at least, to even make $1 off the person I dragged in the door. Where for you guys, if you're on hourly, you might be able to up your budget because of the fact that if you seal a $3,000 deal, you're only paying $150 for the 3 hours of labor. Those are things you have to take into account with your marketing strategy is like, how much does it cost me to acquire an actual client? And how much effort did it take? And if it's working, push more money into that. That's why I don't just talk about social media, because marketing is more than social media. Your website being properly SEO optimized is huge. Did you know that you have to get on blogs? I found this out last year. I was pissed. So your website needs to be backlogged, like backlinked to other like blogs to rank higher on Google. Your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikTok, all that counts as backlinking for your website, which then instantly correlates on Google with like how valuable of an asset you are to Google. So then you pop up higher or lower based off those assets. It's just like how, so for us, we always try and win best of SLC and Utah's best, because then you get put on a website that you're a winner, which creates a backlink for your website that makes your website stronger. So competing in those competitions, even though they seem like a pissing contest is the nicest way to put it, actually matters because it's not even about winning the trophy, it's about getting the backlink on the website. Understanding your hashtags, your avatar, getting backlinking is so huge, because if you find out that all your clients are over 30 but under 40, for some reason they all watch the NBA, that changes how you're gonna market everything. And I know that's like super critiqued down to like the basics, but it's like, there's a reason Maverick opened up so many locations so fast, and it's because they understood their client. With hashtags, ask ChatGPT this prompt. Act as my marketing manager. Ask me questions to understand my avatar. And client avatar would probably be the right way to put that. And then it'll ask you the questions, you're gonna fill it out. Now you've programmed a ChatGPT bot to be your marketing manager and to understand your avatar. Because this is what I do. I tell ChatGPT, I built a specific chat in ChatGPT and I've trained it. But so then I can go into ChatGPT and be like, this worked really well. Can you give me 5 different versions of this that aren't about a girlfriend? And then it'll spit out those ideas, and then it's up to me to create those myself. And so it works with creating hashtags, finding good locations. Once you train the bot's there. Then there's trends, right? And trends are hard because you have to actually pay attention. As we get deeper into our business, the less time we have to scroll. We just don't have, I don't even, if I'm not posting, I'm not on Instagram. I don't have time. And that's where having someone who's younger that you can ask these types of questions to benefits. So Rico's on the trends more than me most of the time, because he knows like he's right at the perfect age. He knows what like the 16-year-olds are doing, but he knows what the 30-year-olds are doing. He's at the perfect age. So when I'm like, hey, is this trend real? And he's like, nope, it's 6 months old. I'm like, okay, I can't use that. He's like, you should do this right now. One that's going off right now is the morning routine. If you look up morning routine video and you recreate that for your business, it will do well. You're just gonna need to plunge your face into an ice bowl of water, which is corny, but basically what these guys are doing is they're making like funny morning routines. So they'll wake up, they'll brush their teeth, and they'll record this. They'll brush their teeth, then it'll skip to them in the kitchen eating cereal, then they'll grab a bowl of ice water, dip their face in it, and then they'll hop on a fake business phone call. They'll be like, yeah, and they'll like be super unprofessional. Yeah, bro, that'll be like at least $10 million. And then it'll skip to them like going and sunbathing, and then like my morning routine. Like it's supposed to be parody. And that's one that's going off like today. But if you aren't like aware, you're never gonna see that. And I'm not telling you to like take time away from your business to scroll. Just maybe ask your kids, ask your nephew or your niece. That's probably the best way. Now I just want to answer any questions you guys have. And thank you guys for listening to me.